Welcome to the Green Table Talk, where we will have open and honest discussion about transplant. I'm your host, Jennen Johnson. Do you know how long your mom was living with liver failure prior to her telling the family?
Process it's so foreign, right? Like, how does one get a kidney? It was so surreal.
When I was going through my kidney failure, everybody came out. Everybody had an opinion. Everybody was a doctor. And so I had a whole bunch of suggestions. Do this fast, do that fast. You gotta cleanse, you gotta juice. So my question to you is any of this real? Welcome to the Green Table Talk. I am, as always, your host, Jennen Johnson. Today we're doing something different. Today is going to be our wrap-up edition of the Green Table Talk. And today I'm going to have on the show Christopher Smith. You normally don't see him because he's behind the scenes. He's there for every single episode. This is our producer. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Jennen.
Glad you could actually finally show your face and we can see the man behind the magic today. So
I know, right? I know, right? Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm excited that you're here. So this is our final edition, our final episode for 2021.
Yep.
And I thought we would do something a little different. We'll just go through our episodes, our favorite episodes. Since we started, September 17th of this year?
Yeah, September 17th, we launched the channel with the trailer and our first piece of material. And we've been putting out stuff almost every single week since then, with just the hiatus for Christmas. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've been putting out regular content every single week since then, and proud of what we've accomplished so far. Definitely.
There's a lot of educational content in there, a lot of emotional moments in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of reviewing over the episodes that we've done. And I myself personally, I'm sure you do too, I have quite a few episodes that I thought were considered my favorites because for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're cool with that, I want to kind of review.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at some of those
episodes.
Special moments indeed.
So let's cut to that video, the very first episode of the Green Table Talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today, for my very first guest, we have the amazing Tisa Alexander, who has a great story to share regarding transplant and her history with transplant. I'm not going to give you too much information about it. I will let you share the story yourself, Tisa. Tisa, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm really excited to share my story.
Me too. I'm excited to talk about your story. It's such an amazing story. I figured I had to have this story on as the first to share on the Green Table Talk. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Tisa.
Physical health, mental health, these things are all stigmatized. They're very,
definitely,
there's that negative connotation to it, and it's, we need to start having these conversations. So that would be my biggest thing. Start talking openly more about our health as people of color in this community, and start having those conversations and asking questions and not being afraid to ask questions.
Mm-hmm. And with the channel like this, ACB channel, this is the perfect place to start doing that research and looking at, like you said, these videos and that's
exactly
where you start learning.
And I wish I had these tools when I was making that, because I did my Google searches and there was very little and very sparse information, and specifically information related to people of color, Black, African Caribbean people, because we do have different ideologies, we have different cultures, we have different we're prone to different health risks, right, than other cultures. So I wish that this was available when I was doing it, but this is get out there, have those conversations. That's my advice to anybody else.
All right.
Excellent.
So yeah, we've come a long way since our production from the first episode.
Yeah, definitely. And that was just September. We're in December. So
yeah.
I think we made strides since then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were still trying to figure out what our look was going to be, and I think how we were going to approach everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we started off with a bang.
Yeah, we were just learning as we went along, and we're still learning and growing, because 2022 is going to be bigger and better, right? So we're still learning from.
Let's take a look at one of my favorite moments from one of the episodes, and this one's with Winnie.
But I remember very clearly having that meeting with her nephrologist and her saying that the possibility of a transplant was was there, and I was like, okay, well, cool. Where do I sign? Just let me know. And everybody's like, no, you know, like you haven't had a child yet. You don't wanna do that. And you know, like what if?
Mm-hmm.
And I just in my head there, I just couldn't wait for the what if. I figured, you know what, if it needs.
Yeah. Right.
That was a great story. That was a great story. That was like just bringing back flashbacks. You know what I mean? Memories
Yeah.
of-
One of the things I think I didn't realize until we started digging into everybody's story is how much resiliency there is in a lot of transplant stories, with like survivors who have gone through so much or have given so much to other people.
Definitely.
That I think it's really understated a lot of times, and you know, it's such an emotional connection. Even just to hear Winnie say that, like, it was never a thought, like she was going to do it, no matter what the case was. And even in Winnie's case, she didn't actually end up being Fadia's donor. They had to go through the pair-to-pair exchange program. So yeah, I think that,
and even just watching the video clip again, like obviously we were both there. We know what happened, we know the outcome, but just hearing it again, just that little clip, it just brings back memories of that episode. It's like, wow, you know, what they went through, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I got another moment I want to share with you. Tell me if you remember this one.
Let me see. That one fateful day when you found out that I had kidney failure. Tell me a little bit more about that. Do you remember where it took place? What do you remember about that?
I remember it was in October and I was with you at home and we were just talking and I saw this look on your face, like something bad, you got some bad news or something. And you told me that you got kidney failure. And at first I didn't know what that meant. But then once you told me about it, I felt my heart break because someone I care about the most is my best friend going through something so terrible, and you didn't deserve it, and I felt like I couldn't control that, and it's kind of hard for me to deal with. But overall, I'm okay.
Yeah, I remember that episode because, of course, that's my daughter Tatiana. But just hearing her, like, she obviously went through the journey with me, but just hearing her speak her truth and her side of how things looked, you know, how things were from on her perspective. It was just kind of eye-opening. It's one of my favorite episodes as well, just seeing my daughter in that different light, because she was 12 at that time when all of that was happening, right?
And I think in another 10 years, when you look back at it and you watch it again, you know, you'll be able to transport yourself back to that exact moment where you can relive those feelings. And even Tatiana herself, you know, she'll be able to examine and look back and say, this is, because I think we underestimate the power of video. Like, if I could have just a little bit of video from when I was growing up, you know what I mean? To help, it could help me understand yourself and who you became, and and whatnot. So I think the power of video lives on.
Completely agree. What else you got?
I got another moment here. This one is from Tamara.
As soon as you have your son, you'd have to be on dialysis. I'm like, I didn't even know what dialysis was.
Wow.
They said your kidneys are so bad that you or your son may not survive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was.
And they told you this while you were in the hospital? Like after you just gave birth, or?
No, before I gave birth.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to take him early because they said if they didn't, it would be both of us or either one of us not making it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hear other people's story. I mean, 1 year, as you know, Chris, I've been through the whole gambit with the kidney transplant, dialysis, what have you, just much like Tamara. But when you hear someone else's story, it makes you feel like, what was I complaining about? You know what I mean? Like it was, you know, your situation was serious, but you hear someone else's serious story as well. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, it puts everything into perspective. Like, you know, obviously it was a weight on her shoulder, just like my situation was a weight on my shoulder, but it just really puts things into perspective.
Yeah, just like he was saying, I didn't know what dialysis was before we started this, right? And to hear other people talk about their journeys through dialysis and what they had to go through, it's really eye opening. And
it is.
You know what I mean? It's like for her to find out while she was pregnant that, you know, this is possibility that one if you could not make it.
Yeah.
It's
hard. It's hard. But happy to say that she's doing very well.
Absolutely, for sure.
Doing well, her son's doing well. So
and that's why we're doing what we do, so that we can encourage people to share their stories.
Of course.
Right? I mean, so far we've tackled successful stories, but one of the things we want to do for season 2 is talk about when the transplant doesn't work and talk about the other side of transplant.
That's right. Talk about those who are still waiting for a transplant.
Those who are still waiting for a transplant.
Who haven't received this blessing just yet.
That's right.
There's so many different sides, right? Mm-hmm. There's another episode that I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
We interviewed Caroline, and she was just, it was just funny. I felt like I was just talking to a sister from another mother. Like we were just there and just gabbing back and forth. I felt like we were just sitting in a Starbucks and just talking. Just, you know, we've known each other for years.
I got that queued up for you right here.
Wow. Let's see. And how long ago was this when you just started?
28. And so I'm 50 now, so that's 22 years.
Yes. Wow. Any other side effects? Because I know myself personally with prednisone, I just blew up. I gained a ton of weight. My appetite was like enough for me, you, and your family. Like, it was just ridiculous. You know? Did you have any, looking at you, and you look all slim and petite, so I'm like, you didn't have any issues with prednisone, did you? Like, what was your, none whatsoever?
I'm so sorry that happened to you, but no, I didn't have it.
Damn, okay.
What I did get, though, was the rosy cheeks. I had my...
Okay.
Yeah, my cheeks were rosy, but no, I didn't like it. But I didn't like medication, but no, I've never made me eat more than the ordinary. I've been heavier off medication than I am on medication, so no side effects. No.
You are one of the lucky ones. So jealous. Oh my gosh, so jealous. Prednisone didn't even touch her. She was just, what's this? No big deal. Not me.
I know for sure. I know for sure that one of the things that the hospital is looking into right now is your health condition pre-transplant, as in conditioning your body to go through a transplant. Those who are in better physical shape going into the transplant tend to come out of the transplant in better shape, because their body is just in better shape to receive the transplant and to go through such a big surgery, right? I know for sure Sonia's dad, he had to go back in again, and the second time around, not only is his recovery faster, his need for medication as much isn't there. And it's because he was walking 5 to 10 kilometers every single day religiously.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well before he was going to need the transplant, because he knew he was going to have to go back under the knife again. So for the last year, he's been walking, getting himself ready. And, again, I think that really shows in Caroline, where she was physically really fit going into the transplant.
Yep.
And certain things like prednisone didn't bother her.
Didn't phase her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Completely agree. Completely agree. Do you have any more clips?
I do. I got one more with Charles.
Yes. Give me a little insight as to what your life was like before any of these health issues. Like, what were you into? Were you into sports? Were you like, what was your life? What was Charles Cook like pre-health issues?
Pre-health issues, I was literally one of America's best and brightest.
Now, Charles is one of the only people I've gotten to actually meet, like, in person since we've started the channel.
He's a great guy.
He's a fantastic guy. I don't know what else to say about Charles, the bionic man. Charles, earlier I had mentioned about the willingness, the drive, the resiliency of transplant patients. And I think Charles, it really exuberates through Charles. That, like, the tough get going, and you know what I mean? And don't give up.
He keeps banging.
Keep banging.
Motto, right?
Keep banging.
That's
right?
It. Charles is an amazing guy. He's got that will, that drive.
Yeah.
Never seen him upset. He's always happy. And
in the personal story, one of the things he said was his father told him, what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna essentially just wallow in your own pity?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to still try to live the best life that you can live for yourself under the conditions that you have? And I think Charles really embraced that.
100%. 100%. And he attributes a lot of his strength to his wife as well.
Absolutely.
So that's who helped him through this entire journey and still there with him to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he's got great support, which we always talk about on the show. Like when you go through this journey, you need to have great support. It's the must.
No one's doing this journey by themselves.
No, it's hard. You can't.
Yeah.
You have to have someone to turn to, right?
And that's probably a subject matter area that we should address and take a look at is caregivers of those who have gone through transplant, right? Because
that's a great idea.
On every transplant story, the backside of that is someone who was essentially that person's caregiver. Yes. Right?
Someone to help, someone to support. 100%. So what else would you like to see for 2022 on this channel, Chuck Chris?
I would really like to see us showcase members of the community some more, right? Some ACB members of the community in their professional settings, right? I would like to see us tackle some really
difficult topics.
Really difficult topics.
Yeah.
I think.
The ones that people don't really talk about. It's kind of
right. And I think, going back to what we originally wanted to do with this particular segment was to have that open, honest discussion about transplant, the things that people aren't talking about. So I think that, I would love to see us tackle some off-key topics that, don't get talked about. And then I would love to see us have, I'm calling it this, but an ACB summit, right? Where we would invite members of the ACB community to come and speak about topics and subjects that they think we need to cover in our community around,
that they feel important,
right? And then use our channel as the funnel to provide that information to whoever wants it.
That's a great idea. That's an amazing idea.
So
yeah, I love that. I think go ahead.
And I want to see us do it live.
I was just about to say that. You literally read my mind. I was just about to say, once things kind of change, things in our society, settle down, I'd love to do this live. Like literally have a green table, a green tablecloth, round, square, whatever size table, shape table, and we're all gathered there and we're just going back and forth, vibing, having our, open discussion, but whatever the topic is, discussing, current events, things that are, applicable to us and our society, health. I'd love to do that live. Love to do that
going back to a conversation I had with Euless at the starting a couple weeks back, and it was, there's a different type of energy when you get people in a room together.
Yes.
Than you get over a virtual call or telephone call. No matter how much they know each other, there's a certain type of kinetic energy that happens when people are together, and I think that would be great for the show. Yeah,
I think that's what we need. We need that in-person communication, because it is a different vibe, a different feeling, right?
If we can't do that, then maybe we can settle for just you in the studio and then a gigantic screen, kind of like they do. Yeah, kind of like they do on talk shows.
Yeah.
When they can't get the person in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to see us just essentially take the production up a notch. How about you?
Outside of the call like this.
Outside of the call like that we're doing like this, yeah.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I think that person-to-person connection is very important. You definitely get a different vibe. I would like to tackle more taboo topics. We had our episode talking about sex and transplants, intimacy and transplants. That was a good episode as well, and we talked about a lot of things that wasn't mentioned. When you go into have a transplant, the doctors don't really necessarily tell you certain things that are going to happen to you, and you kind of discover it on your own. So I'd like to venture out on that avenue a bit more as well. I'd like to talk to more people, share more stories. Have everybody else come on the show within the ACB community, or even not necessarily the ACB, but just someone who has a story to share. And we feel that will be important to share the story, you know, because if that one person's experiencing it, guaranteed someone else out there is experiencing it
too.
Regardless, you know, color, creed, race, what have you.
That's correct.
It's something that should be shared, right? So I'd like to venture down that avenue as well. And I think it's going to be good. I think 2022 is going to bring about a lot of change, more stories, more sharing, more information, more guidance, you know, have more content on our show for people to look at, share as well. You know, you might have that person or a friend or family member who's going through something, whether it's a transplant or they know somebody who's going through a transplant and they're trying to, you know, figure out a way to be there for them. They might find that information right here on our channel, right? So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good.
It'll be really interesting to see what we can and cannot do with the world ever so changing, ever so fluid every single day. It feels like we were so close, but now the goalpost is kind of pushed back even further. So yeah, while I would love to get us live and whatnot, it'll be totally based on whether or not we're able to even meet because of COVID.
You know what? We won't let COVID stop us.
No.
HQ channel will still continue. We'll
no
continue
matter
what.
No matter what.
You know? We'll continue putting out our stories and sharing stories and continue laughing and
for sure.
Hey,
speaking of that, I got one more clip for you. Let's see if you remember this moment.
What was something happened to you? It'd be my fault. I didn't say nothing. So I had to be supportive, make sure I'm very transparent on my thoughts, and make sure I tell you the truth when I speak to you.
Now that you're mentioning, you know, telling me the truth, let's be honest and tell me the truth. How much do you really love me?
Oh my gosh. To the Earth's crust, the Earth's core. We go deeper into the Pacific Ocean.
Thank you very much, DeRoy.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's the hubby. That's DeRoy expressing himself. That one got a lot of responses. I got a lot of people responding back to that. Got messages and stuff. People thought it was cute, and so yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Yeah, thanks for sharing memories. So
yeah, and we've created quite a bit of memories so far. I think we have about 6 hours worth of stuff for people to watch. Yeah, so it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. Whether or not I think our episodes are too long, I don't know. That's up for debate, but I think
you could always do something with it.
Yeah, I think once you create the content, then having it is just half the battle. Whether you want to chop it up into smaller pieces, but for sure, yeah, we've done quite a bit so far.
And that's just the beginning, right?
Yeah, season two for 2022.
Yep.
More guests and yeah.
It's gonna be a big year, Chris. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
Excellent.
Chris, are you gonna send us off with a message of encouragement?
You know what? This time around, I think all I'm gonna do is just wish everybody a happy new year, all the best for 2022. You know, nothing but love, peace, prosperity, health, happiness, and anything your heart desires. You know, just go out there, get it. It's 2022, it's yours. It's yours for the taking. Grab it. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I plan on doing for 2022. Chris, hope you do too.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Take care, everyone.
I'm glad we finally got to see the man behind the magic. Thank you for being on the show, Chris.
Absolutely.
And wish you nothing but the best, and we'll see you back in 2022.
All right. Take care.
All right. You take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.